What up? What up? Can you guys hear me okay? Just want to make sure my audio is good. And then we will proceed with the super long Delphi intro.
NASA, Disney.
What's up, Frank? Reach into my soul, True Crime Housewife, CJK, Anna Lissette, Marlo Mack, D, Brett Decker, Miss Thang. What's going on, Frank? What you up to? Good to see you, Vanessa. Anthony France, hello. What's up, D? Hi, Joe.
I have not a clue. I think it's because they said I was the last person to talk to her.
Hunker down, guys.
No, never. Not at all. I gave up my DNA, a hair follicle test. I've done everything.
Jules, hello. Purdue, good to see you.
I have not a clue.
JJ.
The tape itself, it's not an order he's giving them. It almost sounds like if it would look like a school teacher say, guys, down the hill, or a coach, like someone who has very familiar.
What's up, Karen? Hello, Lee. Jinx, hello. Doing well, Karen. Thank you. Hey, Tom, how you doing? Good to see you, Bogey. Maureen, hello. How are you? Two or more. Good to see you, Anna. What's up, Phil?
Investigators say he used the fake Anthony Schott social media profile to communicate with underage girls and receive sexually explicit images. Police interviewed Klein at the time of his arrest in August 2020. They questioned him in that interview about another school-age girl that gave her address to the Anthony Schott's profile just after the Delphi murders. Klein knew the girl in Galveston personally. The police told Klein that she comes home from school, sees this guy with a ski mask looking in her bedroom window, directly after giving this address to Anthony Schott. As a matter of fact, that's the incident that started everything else last time. That's how everything started last time, with that incident.
What's up, Lance? Good to see you. Shout out to the UK. What's up, Anna? Hey, Beach Fairy. What's up, Bono? Tom says, what flips in these people's mind that they can't stop what they are doing? So terrible that they continue with piercing screams coming at them. Yeah. It's like, what makes them tick? And how are they able to hide? You know, at least in the movies or in your nightmares, you know, monsters are big creatures with claws and these huge fangs, right? You don't expect it to be the guy working at the CVS or the park ranger or the guy with the broken arm driving, you know, the VW bug, you know, with the blue eyes and cute smile, you know. I'm more concerned about being able to identify these people. I just wish we could see them coming. What's up, Chopper? Good to see you. Lee, I don't know. I've been asking since the whole Richard Allen thing broke if they could provide any information if he was hospitalized, because the rumors were going around. I haven't found anything, man. If you can point me in the right direction, you know, I'm still curious. Yeah, some kind of sickness. A lot of serial killers call it a possession, something they can't control. But psychologists say that's just them trying to point a finger at a monster when they are the monster. Yeah, it's supposed to be a long. I have a little news clip here. One of my members sent me a video in the Discord. We'll watch that too. We might watch that first before we do anything. Yeah, D, I haven't found anything. There's a lot of rumors. Yeah, Bono, I think that's the only way to explain it, is just evil. It's a fight between good and evil. That's why I'm a firm believer. You know, you can pray to whoever you want, but the God that I pray to, I feel like is the only time I pray to that person, I don't feel any darkness surrounding me. Tom says the scariest movies I watch are the ones with psycho killers, Shining, American Psychos, to name a couple. Because that's the scariest thing. Because we know that most of these psychos that they've captured in the past, some of them were family men. They had these secrets they kept. They were monsters that were just playing human. Like the BTK, Dennis Rader, he played human pretty good, but he was far from human. Yeah, there's a link. Oh, looks like we got a new member. Let's all welcome Anna. We'll probably have a members only live stream Tuesday. She got it. Diamond Eyes, hello. It's a pretty name. Beach Fair says, so well disguised members of the church fathers. Yeah, if anything, these predators, they become overly nice, eager to help. They seek out a troubled child in a troubled home, and they're eager to watch. Convince the parents, hey, go have a night to yourselves. You know, if you need a babysitter, I'll watch. Just snakes in the grass. Yeah, it can be, Bono. That's why we cover true crime. Vanessa, you guys are getting hit pretty hard, huh? Hope you guys all stay safe out there. It's not worth it. What's good, Frank? How's it going on the Jordan Soper case? I haven't gotten any emails back from anybody. Hey, bass girl. What's going on? What are you up to? Welcome to the live stream. Bono says, I think it was TK covering his and his son's butt, probably trying to get the phone from that other young lady, maybe worse. Oh man, tornadoes. Yeah, I won't lie, I'm a little bit afraid of tornadoes. That comes from having family out in the Midwest and hearing those tornado sirens and then having to run into like a neighbor's shelter or something. That shit ain't no joke. Because if you hear those sirens, that means that one's already touched down. You know, you can see your grandparents looking out the window. My grandpa's like, the clouds are turning green. When it starts hailing, we're going. You know, we're going to the neighbors. If I see that hail, so apparently something about the clouds turning like a greenish color, wall clouds, funnel clouds, and then hail. Like apparently that is not a good combination. But I'm from the desert, so that's about the peak of my tornado knowledge. Hey, what's up, Bossy? Looks like we got Blind Squirrel hanging out. Good to see you. Tax cut in the place. The unique green clouds. Is that real? Angela, hello. I live in Oklahoma. I don't know if the closet's going to help. I don't know if you've seen any of these videos of tornadoes where they come through and the house just, boom, disintegrated. Diamond says, yes, the sky goes green. Man, that'd be terrifying. Why green? The fuck? Still working on it, trying to find out of Peru that knew Jordan, aka Aaron Willis. Did you try reaching out to the Hardee's employee that was also her roommate? I found an email and the person responded to me. She's like, oh, like, yeah, I used to live there and that's my name, but I never worked at Hardee's and I never did that. She's like, but I heard about that story. It's very troubling. So she was familiar with it, but just the wrong person. Yeah, it's a tragic case. Jordan Sofer was pointless. It's one of those cases that reminds me of Evansdale, where it's like right there, you know, just need the right person to come forward and the right tip. Just like Delphi. The dude was right there. I think the same thing is going on for both of those cases. The killer is right there amongst the people. Today's live stream is basically going to be part 2 of yesterday's live stream. So, and I don't know if I'm going to be using the super long Delphi intro. I think I'm just going to use it for this 2-part segment. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I can't find her. I found some of the boyfriends, family members, but I'm not going to reach out to them because I believe he may have committed suicide. No, I don't think it would be proper. Because I think he was, there's rumors being spread that he may have been involved, but just because somebody kills himself doesn't make them implement them in a crime that happened that closely related to them earlier in their life. You know what I mean? So I kind of feel bad for their family as well. Sorry about the dogs. Beach Fairy says, regardless of who it was, if it was related to Delphi, the ski mask incident was such a risky move. It really was. And sometimes I wonder if they were completely unrelated. Now, this is not the direction that the live stream is going to go in. This is just a thought that I had. What if the killer or killers of Abby and Libby gathered information from the same source? Let's say that this person in the ski mask did. Maybe Kegan Kline was making it public in one of these chat rooms, one of these forums that these predators join, where they trade CSAM and stuff like that. And I wonder if he just made this information public or sold it, or I just haven't been able to find any cases of that happening in the past. It's not very common. Doesn't mean it's not happening and it's not prevalent. I just can't find any proof. So it's hard to talk about something if you don't have a way to kind of back it up, But I'm wondering, maybe they both saw the information and them being predators are like, okay. Or since he was catfishing Libby's friend, maybe not only did he sell Libby's information to one predator, sold Libby's friend's information to another. So you have one attack happening over here from, something unrelated that a predator took interest in and has his own motive. And then you have a separate predator with his own motive attacking another person. But I don't know if that's even something that happens. I don't know if anybody can recall a time police apprehended or captured a suspect and then discovered, like, hey, this guy's actually selling information to predators. Almost like open for business, you know what I mean? Sorry about that. Yeah, my dogs are pretty good. The good thing is they don't continue on. Like, they kind of listen around and they're like, okay, they kind of figure out what it is. They're like, oh, okay, that's a neighbor pulling up, or that's the FedEx guy or whatever, or that's the neighbor's pool cleaner, or who knows who it is. But they'll kind of listen. Frank, yeah, I talked to Burgess again. If you want to talk with him, or if you have any questions, for whatever reason, he talks with me. So I might have just caught him at the right time, said the right things. I'm not sure. But Anna says, the little bits about the ski mask incident don't add up to a coherent story. It's caused the problem last time. What, when, whatever it was, KK wasn't in jail for several more years. Well, the documents that we're going to go over today are pretty much all from Kegan's interview transcript. And there's a specific comment made by investigators where they said there was even a police report filed. So this is a real thing. Now, the only confusion is who it was relating to. Was it relating specifically to Libby's friend? Law enforcement is very vague on that point, but they do state that this person is related to the same family. Now, I just find it strange that the person that introduced Libby to Anthony Schatz is the same family that after the murders is ski mask incident is perpetrated upon that same family. This cannot be a coincidence. It just can't. The timeline, the February timeline. I wish that's what we could have gone over more in the last live stream that we did. So this is basically going to be a part 2 to that live stream. Afterwards, later on in the day, I went back and there was just things I wanted to cover, things that I wanted to stay on a little bit longer. Because if you really break it down, I mean, the story's right there. So somehow Richard Allen and Kegan Kline, or Richard Allen and whoever, maybe it's TK. I don't know. There's nothing that points to TK other than character stuff. We don't know if could he be capable. His history says it's possible. Doesn't make him the killer or even part of it. But was Kegan Kline with the killer? Was Kegan Kline somehow, for some reason, hanging out with Richard Allen just momentarily? Maybe they ran into each other. Maybe they had recently become friends. Maybe somebody that Kegan Kline was hanging out with, or somebody TK was hanging out with, or even TK himself became friends with Richard Allen recently, or were past friends and became reacquainted. I'm not sure the connection, but this cannot be a coincidence. I mean, I've gone over it a million times. It's just not possible. Anna says, I believe the ski mask incident happened, but I have no idea who or why or what became of the ski mask guy. I think that the ski mask guy could very well be Richard Allen or the other person who was involved in the murder that Prosecutor McClellan mentions, that others may be involved. Even schooled, which day is that? I keep hearing that. Everybody's like, oh, that was President's Day or something. You know, it's always something. But what I'm going off of is what law enforcement stated. And yes, there's some things that they can lie about, but they can't lie about stuff like that. They can say things like, hey, we talked to your friends and they're all making it seem like you did this, man. So it's probably better if you come clean now, because they're all pointing their finger at you. I don't think so, Sensei. I don't think you can do a freedom of information request on that while it's part of an open investigation. But yeah, if it's closed and it's finalized and they found out who it was, yeah, it should be available. I don't see why not. But I have a feeling it's still part of this case here. Anna says, could it have been a parent or someone trying to scare her away from online boys? They are embarrassed to say it was them. I don't know. That's a strange tactic. I'm sure if it was, it worked. But they made it seem like it may not have been that same person. But then there's part of the transcript where they make it seem like it is the same person. They say, yes, the friend that you're talking to, Kegan, the same the friend you were talking to the entire time. So he's like, oh, yeah. And he even says her name. So it's like he really didn't. It's like he didn't do the ski mask incident. He doesn't know who did, but he did connect somebody to the Anthony Shots profile. When you read Kegan Kline's interview transcript, that's how it reads. He's like, no, I talked to the friend. It was this other person that was talking to Libby, who eventually probably, committed the murders. Or it was these two guys that were talking to that, who knows, to Abby and Libby. Could be something along those lines. See, Keegan's a professional catfish. He knows where to draw the line. He's content with living in that character, getting the attention, as a good-looking person, and getting his little photos he gets. He's happy. He's accomplished everything he wants. But there could be somebody who sees him doing that or him bragging to, who that's not enough. They want to have a physical relationship. Maybe they come out and say, hey, look, it's really me. And they're like, oh, shit, that's the guy that works at the CVS. Teresita Hillis, hello. No one has been able to link KK to RA. There's nothing concrete to show they were associated anyway. I haven't seen anything either. Rumors that they went to school together, pure rumors. I haven't seen anything. So if you have that information, that might put pieces to the story. That would definitely be a huge connection there. It is said the girl invited Anthony Schatz to come visit when her parents were away. And we're going to read that page here verbatim. Was he expected in the afternoon when she got home from school? Was he involved to the house? None of this makes sense. It makes perfect sense to me now. It makes 100%, and I'm going to do my best to explain it to you guys. So what I did was I pulled all of Kegan Kline's transcript information because it's packed filled with information based off of the investigators' questions. If you look closely, they're giving us plenty of answers to a lot of our own questions. But really, while they're doing this, they're trying to trick Kegan up. They're trying to get him, they're setting traps for him, like a boxer. Like early on in the transcript, they ask him, oh, so would you ever, were you catfishing anybody that you know? And, anybody that you actually know in person? He's like, no, like I would never do that. And then later on, they're like, oh, well, what about Libby's friend? You obviously introduced, she obviously introduced you to Libby, right? And he's like, oh, okay. See, now I know what you were trying to do when you were talking about, have I done this to a family member? Yeah, because you just got caught in a lie. So they'll set traps like that. But a lot of time these traps are very revealing. Especially the page where they talk about logging in and logging out. One of the main questions they slip in there is like, which devices were these? That to me makes it seem as if they don't know. There's a device that they were logging in and out of, which this is a hunch, might have been what was recovered in the Wabash River. I think it's very possible. We'll call it a hunch. Beach Fairy says, something I noted down earlier thinking about it was, if the ski mask incident wasn't related, wouldn't it be good news for headlines? Maybe law enforcement didn't want it out there, and that's why no news. Well, they didn't want it out there because it was part of an open investigation. Think about this. Without the ski mask incident, they have no Anthony Schatz. With no Anthony Schatz, they have no Kegan Kline. With no Kegan Kline, in my opinion, they have no Richard Allen. With no Richard Allen, they have absolutely zero. So to me, that makes perfect sense that the ski mask incident ever happened, because that person was motivated to stop these sequence of events from taking place. If he could have gone there and got the device or hurt that girl, who then in turn reported the incident and also reported that the same person that she was talking to, now that she's thinking about it, was supposed to meet Libby at the bridge. That information comes specifically from Libby's friend, who introduced her to Anthony Schatz, who her family is friends with Kegan Kline, or vice versa. So if this ski mask incident was there to tie up loose ends and to silence somebody who could set this ball in motion, if he was successful, this case would be dead in the water right now, in my opinion. So that's why this person was risking it all. And it also could be the reason why Kegan Kline and TK fled to Vegas. They could have been scared. They're like, man, did you hear what happened? Yeah, we got to get out of here. Or they're like, yeah, this dude, yeah, we're definitely going to get caught. Either way, when Kegan came back, he said, I'm fucked. And he even packed an extra bag. Why? Why in Las Vegas is he searching and listening to the voice? Because he wanted to see, he knew whose voice that was, and he wanted to see if you could recognize it through that audio. Because if you can recognize it through that audio, it will lead back to him, and he would be fucked. But after looking and looking and looking and realizing, hey, man, that could be anybody. Okay, I think we're in the clear. They don't have anything. Let's go back. Second they go back, they serve a search warrant that same day. Not because of child porn, not because CSAM, not because catfishing and solicitation and none of that stuff, but because of the Delphi murder and because of the ski mask incident. The girl reported the incident, mentions Anthony Schatz. They look into Anthony Schatz, find out that Anthony Schatz is connected to Kegan Kline. Kegan Kline comes back from Vegas and they serve the search warrant because of the Delphi case. Without that specific incident, I don't think that they would have anything on the case, and I don't think they would. Well, eventually they may have gone back and found Richard Allen, but I think they were inspired to, and I think something led them to go do that. Well, the 20th is when the ski mask incident did happen. And we'll pull up the page that proves that as well. Or which leads me to believe what, that is the truth. All right, let me see where we should start here. So these documents are just to kind of give, credence, kind of give a little bit of backup to my theory, because I'm going to be using all the facts that are within these documents. And then maybe some other facts or some things that we all agree to be true. A consensus, I guess. Yep, and we're gonna go over that. Actually, let's get that out of the way. This is a quick update. Was sent to me by a member of my channel. Wasn't it you? I think it was you, Vanessa. So let's pull this up. It's real quick. I think it's like a minute long. So yeah, this thing, this case, well, I guess the court proceedings, they're just getting started. The defense is barely learning the facts, stuff that we don't know about, and they're putting their story together. They got an uphill battle for sure. Why is that the least reported? I think it's the least reported beach ferry because it's something that we don't have any information on, What are they going to keep saying? I'm the only one that keeps talking about it. Like when I even made this live stream, I'm like, nobody's going to watch this, but the more and more I look at this incident, the more and more to me it's the key to everything. To me, this is the connection. This is I don't know if it's the Kegan Kline connection, but it's the Anthony Schatz connection to the actual murder. So before we get into the calendar, I think we'll go through some of these documents. We won't read them all. Maybe we'll just focus in on the highlighted parts. I know you guys don't want to hear me read these again. Hey, Bird Blue. Yeah, that's awesome. Yep, they both run off to Vegas. Were they running because they thought they were going to get busted? Maybe the killer convinced them, like, Kegan, like, you got us busted, man. Like, why didn't you tell me that the friend knew and that you knew the friend and you were actually connected to this person? Like, you're going to get us all arrested. Yeah, trying to tie up loose ends. Because, I mean, think about it. Let's say the ski mask person, whoever this was, let's say he was successful. That's it. Story's over. This is a cold case, possibly 10 years down the road. Well, we know, Anna says, I wonder if he ghosted her after doing that to her. If so, it was KKRA, etc. Well, we're going to look at some pages here in this transcript where they talk about that. Kegan's like, yeah, I met her early in February. I blocked her around the 10th. And law enforcement's kind of like, well, that's strange because on your personal phone, that's exactly when that's the only thing you ever deleted. You didn't delete anything. On all your burner phones, you just left everything. But on the phone that you use, the iPhone, from the 10th to the 16th, and they even used the word grooming. They said this point in time where the grooming would have taken place is off of your phone. Okay, so why would he do that? Why just that phone? Because that's the part that tells a huge part of the story. And for some reason, they weren't able to recover that, and I don't know why. Beach Fairy says, do they know who the Kleins went to see or where they went in Vegas? Yes, they do. They went to see a cop friend of Tony's, and they also know that Kegan was trying to meet somebody, and he was using a burner phone to meet them from Craigslist, and he claimed it was for weed. Who knows? And he also talks, we're going to look at some information about Kegan saying that he saw Libby's face on the news and recognized her. See, these are little details that I looked over before. Okay. I cannot catch up on the chat, so we are just going to jump right in. Okay, this is page 52, Kegan Kline's interview transcript. Miss Thing asks, could Libby have been invited to the Ski Mask Girl's house for the first Anthony Shots meetup when KK said I was supposed to meet her, but she never showed up? No, but that's pretty close to what we're going to talk about, because there was a sleepover early on in February, and then there was a secondary sleepover on the 10th, just before the crime, just before the murders. So I have a feeling that there's a huge part of the story that took place right at that time. So the killers may have even came and met up with the girls privately. They may have disclosed who they were, and that could have been the reason why what they were trying to hide. You know, one being maybe both of them being family men. You know, we're not going to let these two girls ruin our lives because we're predators. You know, we'll just silence them and anybody else. Okay. So this is something that could be part of the motivation for the killers. Law enforcement says, Bud, from your Dropbox account off your phone, we have started one of the largest child pornography investigations ever undertaken in the state of Indiana. From your Dropbox. So what does that mean? To me, that sounds a lot of bad dudes. Oh, yeah. The weather's wonderful right now. It was really cold today. That's why I'm wearing this little sweater. I spilled bong water on my hoodie. So I did laundry. Get out of I get dressed, put on my hoodie, my sleuth hoodie, the green one, and I spilled bong water all over it. Bong water makes me want to puke. So I just put this thing on. It's comfy. It's kind of old man status with the little zipper. Actually, I think I got this from my dad. Anna says it really looks suspicious, them having obvious ties on Facebook, changing the dates, etc. Okay. So I think I wanted to read this whole page here. So he's talking to him about his phone. You had like a swipe and a pin in the backup on one phone. He says, oh, the Samsung or something? Yeah. You know, like I said, the things that we need to clarify on that stuff. We need to clarify, and just as in the child pornography and the solicitation and exploitation, that you weren't honest, like you said. I mean, you were just nervous. And he's like, right. With anxiety of getting caught, you know, the Delphi investigation, we found things that you weren't honest about either. He's like, what do you mean? And that I'm going to go into that because, yeah, please do. What we need to discuss it, okay? You had told investigators, and I know you say you don't remember a girl that you ever talked to, but I know you remember Liberty German. Kind of mumble something here. Right, and you know you talked to her and you admitted to talking to her. Kegan says, I don't think I ever did, though. I think I talked to one of her friends, like I told them. So is this him telling like a half-truth? Like, I didn't talk to Libby. The psycho killer that was with me did. Or the psycho killer's accomplice did. Jumpin' Jack Flash, what's up? Says, maybe when KK said he was fucked, he was either threatened in some way or involved. Yeah, I'm starting to wonder if he was nervous. He's like, man, that guy, you know, your friend that went crazy and killed those girls, it's like my fault because I gave him that information or you guys introduced him to her, but, you know, it's my fault. And law enforcement keeps saying that to Kegan over and over in the trial. I know you feel guilty. I know you feel guilty. And he gets offensive. It's like, no, I'm not. I'm not. Okay. What was that? Page 125. Oh, no, that's page 52. Wait, hold on. Oh, it's because I don't have them going in order. Oh, well, I'll just do it by page number. Ducketology, going to Vegas to get rid of evidence. Ski mask guy went to Gat Girl's house to get rid of evidence also. Ski mask is TK in my book. Okay. So here they say, okay, well, on February 13th, this would have been logged in a little bit earlier. So that would have been 8 o'clock in the morning at your house, okay, where you and your dad lived, 2 separate devices. See the numbers here, how they're the same? Log in, log out, log in, log out. One device, log in, log out. All within minutes of each other to the same Anthony Shots Snapchat account. What 2 devices were these? This is a fact. Now, was this the killer and Kegan Klein or somebody close to Kegan Klein plotting a murder and using Kegan's help to access the account to track them and to use for what they're planning on doing later that day? Oops, sorry. Well, one of the devices wasn't handed over. His burner phone that he apparently found in a taxi cab he sold. But it was a burner phone, and he only had it while he was in Vegas. That's also suspicious. Oh, you guys were talking about these mountains behind me? Oh, I'm so sorry. I think that's Alaska. I could be wrong. Might even be Colorado. Can't remember. I think it's Alaska. Wouldn't they have found Anthony shots through Libby's phone or her phone history or other basic detective? I don't know. We don't know. That's not how they found it, though. We can say, yeah, we hope. Hey, Louise. Good to see you. Yeah, I think he moved back with his mom or something. Yeah, you're right, Mark. Okay, let's see what we got here. So that was page 137. Yeah, this seems like it's jumping all over the place. Hold on, let me put this in alphabetical order. Okay, there we go. So here on page 129, they're basically asking him why he was searching. Like, why were you searching all this Delphi stuff when you originally told investigators, you went on a party weekend? He was trying to label this vacation as a party vacation with him and his dad to spend some, bonding time, with prostitutes and things like that. Typical father and son stuff, But his cell phone history tells a different story. It tells a story of him being paranoid, looking up DNA, how long does DNA last, and also listening. So they're asking him right now, I don't know. I mean, trying to hear the guy's voice, see what he said. I don't know, probably 5 or 6. And law enforcement's like, well, as a matter of fact, it was 6. Like, we know exactly how many times you looked it up. So my notes here say, was Keegan trying to see if the killer was who he thought he was? Or was he trying to decide if you could identify the voice of somebody who he knew was the killer? Another article, information sought information into the deaths of Liberty German and Abigail Williams. It was a lot. And you saying that it was a party weekend, nothing but fun, and that's not what your phone says. It's not what your search history says. Kegan says, because I was searching about people dying. No, not just people dying, a person that you literally talk to. And he gets caught in a lie right here. Yeah, but I didn't realize that at the time, that's who I was talking to. How do you not? Because like I said, I talked to a ton of people. You liar. And then once I realized, I was like, whoa, what the fuck? When would you say you realized that it was that Liberty German, the girl that you were talking to, that was killed? I don't know. Probably, a little bit after, probably happening. Probably after I happened, I saw her face and saw her name. What do you mean you saw her face and you saw her name? So you knew who she was 100%. You knew her by face and by name. But yet you originally tried to tell investigators you didn't even talk to her. See, the thing about Kegan Kline is you have to show him that you know. You have to say, you talked to Liberty, and then you have to show him the conversation that you have the evidence there, then he'll be like, oh, yep, that's me. He doesn't play this, come along and walk me through it. He doesn't play that game with law enforcement. Yeah, exactly. And who does that on Craigslist? Nobody. He was doing something else on Craigslist, in my opinion. I don't know if I know he did live there. He lived there from I think late 2017 to 2019. Something along that lines. I could be wrong. It wasn't very long. Almost like a year and a little over a year and a half. Okay. So he says in response, yeah, I don't remember talking to her. I remember talking to one of her friends, I thought. See, that's him saying, yeah, like I was talking to her friend. You just said you remember talking to her. Well, that's what I remember her being there, like with her friend, but I don't remember ever talking to her. See, this is at the sleepover the first weekend of February. Now, I don't know if they were at Liberty's friend's house, but Liberty's friend was with her, right? And he's gaining access to the whole group through this friend's phone. They're sending images, and he's able to see an image with Liberty in it. So he's like, no, I'm talking to her friend, but yeah, I remember seeing her face. So if he's talking to this friend, and this friend is most likely the one involved in the ski mask incident, in my opinion, I could be wrong, but I think so. I even think that she may have even gotten in a fight with Liberty over this person, got upset that he was communicating with her. But I could be wrong about the people involved in that whole little argument as well that Kelsey mentions in an interview. Okay. That's what I remember, like with her friend, but I don't remember ever talking to her. They said, that's not what you said. No, you said, I don't. I'm not here to argue with you, okay? I'm not here to lie to you either. Okay, well, I'm not here to lie to you, but I'm telling you what you told investigators was you had talked to her the night of the sleepover. Kegan says, well, this was 3 years ago. I mean, I don't remember everything I told them. You know what I mean? There's no way. I mean, and again, why would I think about that? That was the most traumatic experience of my life. And you're telling me that. Investigators say, I bet it was. And you're telling me that I killed people. So yeah, why would I ever think about that? Because it was a traumatic experience. Like, oh, poor me. Yeah, he could be. They were negotiating for sure. We have those documents as well, Bossy. He could be an informant. I think he is. And Murder Sheet, I mean, they came out, put it on record that they have a source stating that he was there during that search, and he was kind of instructing them. Okay, we already read that one. Okay. Now, this is investigators telling them what they found from the Snapchat investigation. Okay, Snapchat return. You had talked to one of her friends who had said to you, and Kegan says, who I was talking to? See, he's like, you're talking about the one I was talking to. You see how he asks that? Like, you're not referring to what this other person who was talking to, right? Who I was talking to. Yes, that you were talking to. And he's like, the whole time? And they're like, yes, absolutely correct. And Kegan's like, yeah, that's who I remember. You know, that's this person. That's Libby's friend. I admit that. He's like, yes, correct. Kegan's like, right. So they're all on board. They're on the same page. So this person says, she messages Kegan and says, when she goes missing. Did you hear about Liberty? And you respond on Anthony Shots, OMG, what happened? Now, who the hell responds, okay, if you have no clue that anything happened, right? You're not part of the crime. You're not part of anything. She's just missing. Why are you saying, OMG, what happened? That doesn't make any sense at all. You would say, nah, I didn't hear anything. What's going on? Like, what do you want? And investigators say that's talking to somebody about the two girls that were missing and then wound up dead. See, he talked about them and then they wound up dead. How do you explain that? How do you explain the OMG? And is this even Kegan at this time? Is this somebody else who has access to the Anthony Shots? Okay, so he says, okay, same person, or the girl that you were talking to says that Anthony Shots was meeting up with Liberty German. So to me, this is verification of who the ski mask incident is involving. So the person that introduced, because of this one sentence right here, I believe they're telling us who was involved in the ski mask incident. They say, okay, same person, or the girl that you were talking to says that Anthony Shots was meeting up with Liberty German. So I think when the ski mask incident took place, she advised law enforcement during her statement that, yes, I was talking to this guy, Anthony Shots, and then this happened. And they're like, well, who's Anthony Shots? And why did you give him your address? Well, Anthony Shots is this guy, whatever, we met online. And he was also, what's strange is he was also talking to Liberty, and I guess was supposed to meet her. And maybe it didn't make sense to her at the time because she really thought this was a good looking guy, trustworthy guy. And she didn't put two and two together yet. But right then and there, law enforcement knew they had something. They're like, Anthony Shots was supposed to meet Libby and Abby. They ended up being murdered. And now you gave your address to this Anthony Shots guy and he shows up in a ski mask. And look, he gets really frustrated right here. Kegan says, investigators say that's a fact. And he gets really pissed off. That's a lie. That's a total lie. That's a total fucking lie. And that conversation goes, he's like, that's a total lie. So maybe it wasn't Kegan right here talking to this person. Maybe it is now the person who took over the account and committed the actual physical murder with Richard Allen. Or it is Richard Allen. Hey, what's up, Microwave? How you doing? Good to see you. Yes, Olivia asked, didn't KK Google how long does DNA last? When he was in Vegas. Yep. That's all he did was look up the Delphi case. And prostitutes. Hey, Indy. Yes, they were also fighting Perk Kelsey. I'm assuming it was this person, and I think they were fighting over the Anthony Shots. And I'm assuming that they thought it was a real person, and that's why she was still trying to hook up with this guy after her friend passed away. She didn't think, she's like, well, I'm not putting two and two together, so why would it stop me from continuing to communicate with this guy? I was communicating with him before. Yeah, I might have been upset that he started communicating with Libby. And after what happened, he's not tied to it in her mind. She's still thinking it's this guy, who wouldn't hurt a fly and good looking, successful, traveling 19-year-old guy. He's not the killer, right? Okay. So they're asking, so how did you know Libby's friend? They're like, oh, I knew his brother. He was like a couple grades lower than me. So what connect with that? the entire family. So you connect with that, the entire family. I used to actually stay with them a lot. Who? When I lived in Galveston, when they lived in Galveston, stayed with the family, Libby's friends, family. Um, Blank in that family was really like really one good, real good friends in like sixth grade, fifth grade, seventh grade. Do you remember? So, like, I already know where you're right. I did talk to her. Yes. Who? Like, I remember when you said it's that girl. I did talk to her, and he says Libby's friends by name back in the day. Like, you dated her? No, like, I tried to talk to her. Okay. And that's like where you said a little bit ago about the family or whatever. And this is the trap I was referring to. This is him getting caught in that trap. That would be, I guess, an instant of me knowing a family and, catfishing them. A person associated with that family, directly associated with that family, was talking to Anthony Schatz, right? Probably. And then he names Libby's friend that introduced him by name, right? Had to be. He's like, that's who I was talking to. I've admitted that multiple times. I was talking to her, and I think he's trying to implicate somebody else. Like, hey, he was talking to Libby, not me. And was looking to hook up with Anthony Schatz. So she gives an address to Anthony Schatz because she's coming home after school. And she wants to hook up because parents are not home after school for a couple of hours. He says, who's that? This person that I mentioned? And he's like, no, someone associated with that family. He's like, okay, because I don't know what the hell you're talking about. And she gets off this girl associated with Libby's friend's family gets off the school bus, and there's a guy with the ski mask peering in her bedroom window. Okay, and Kegan says, okay, so you're trying to say that that's me or something. They're like, no, I'm not saying it's you. I'm just saying there's another coincidence that we have a girl talking to Anthony Schatz's account. She gives an address to Anthony Schatz because she wants to hook up with him. See, I don't even remember ever giving me an address, but it's what we have. He's like, right. And she did. And in fact, there was actually a police report filed when it happened. So there's some things you can lie about in a police interview, and there's some things that you can't. Right, Tech? Oh, your wholesome family fun, going to the bunny ranch, trying to sell drugs through Craigslist, stuff you do with your dad. Real bonding experience. So there you go. Police report does exist. Okay, so she comes home from school, sees this guy with the ski mask looking in her bedroom window directly after giving this address to Anthony Schatz. As a matter of fact, that's the incident that started everything last time. That's how everything started last time, was that incident. And Keegan's like, well, that's crazy. See, this could be the killer that they're talking to or talking about. I know how bad. Hang on. And on top of that, you, Keegan, on your phone searched this family the day before. On 2/19/2017, you searched this family. He's like, what do you mean I searched? The day before that happened. Okay, so he says the 19th, the day before it happened. So we know for a fact that this happened on the 20th. And they could be mistaken. Could have been the 21st. We don't know. They could, a day before, they could be off. I'm not sure. But that's what they're saying. We know there's a police report. We know that they're saying that on the 19th, he was searching before the incident. 19th, the day would be the day before the 20th, right? So now we know that it happened on the 20th. We think. So your phone shows that you searched that family. And he's like, what do you mean? Well, I'm telling you that your phone searched like on Facebook. And they're like, yeah, another coincidence, huh? He's like, I see what you're trying to put together, but I swear to God, I was not looking in someone's fucking window. We didn't say that. Will you stop? You're implying that. Page 156. You have the day that you gave your polygraph in your interview. You were steadfast in, I met them in the beginning of February. So this is how we know that it was the beginning of February here. He's kind of letting us know, and they're not arguing with him because they know that this is a fact. He says like the first or the second, but I think it was actually the third. I know they had some more snow days. I think it was the following Monday. So I think it was the third actually. You were steadfast. You never came off that. You never spoke to her beyond February 1st or 2nd. And the guy says, look, we know you spoke to her the day she was murdered. You said, absolutely not. I blocked her. She was annoying me after the 1st or 2nd, right? But really, he didn't block her until the 10th, I think. We have these images. You saying that's not, you know, what that's a nude or what are you for? So it looks like they weren't sending him the nudes that he wanted. They may have began trying to blackmail him, may possibly. Something pissed these guys off. He says, we have these grooming pictures. We have the money, the Anthony Shots money account going to her. So nobody was sending Keegan money. Keegan was sending money to her. The Anthony Shots money. So there's a big part of the story that we don't know. I think this money has to do with whatever took place on the 10th. I'm thinking maybe a burner phone, maybe even for Abby. I'm not sure what it was for. But if grooming is taking place, it could very well be money for a burner phone. Maybe Libby was able to convince them to send money and never sent the promised pictures. KK might be texting 50 girls these are my notes, 50 girls at a time, but I know he isn't sending money to them all. He doesn't have that much money. So this proves that he does know Libby much more than he admits. Okay, and right here, the phone. Your phone that you had. All your search history was deleted from 210 to 215. Why would he do this? There's nothing in between. So now that's interesting. That is all those other phones have complete histories. Nothing's gone. So during the time frame where this grooming would have been built up, and look at the word they use, grooming. So whatever happened that second week of February before the crime is a huge piece of this story that law enforcement has that we don't have. But your other devices are complete. So now it all stacks up. The complexity of the Anthony Shots persona, the cars he influenced, the Lamborghinis and the Ferraris. I mean, searching about servers and stuff, this is him going back to Vegas. Searching about servers and stuff, that would have to do with my work. Bullshit. So right after, I'm talking minutes that you are searching, police continue to pursue leads in the Delphi girls murder, girls missing after posting Snapchat messages article. All I mean, that's girls missing after posting Snapchat messages, an article you search. Can you trace IP from social media? So were you thinking about the Delphi investigation? So look, it's obvious this dude is concerned. Either Kegan's concerned or somebody who's with Kegan is concerned. So we're going to stop there because of time. I'm going to go grab some water and then we're going to get into the calendar. My mouth is kind of dry. So we will start right here. Okay. So in the transcript, it says really the first and the second. So I'm wondering if Friday there was no school. Yeah, he is a liar for sure. Transcripts also say they plan. The transcripts don't. Yeah, they do, but it was Kegan that says it. So I don't really like to use too much of a Kegan. That's why I'm not convinced it was the first or the second. I think the sleepover took place on the 3rd to the 4th. I think that's when he was introduced to Abby, or even the killer potentially was introduced. So there was another sleepover the following week. Kegan claims to have blocked Libby. Records indicate Kegan deleted his personal iPhone from February 10th all the way to the 16th. So, and we just read that, where investigators state that. I think RA will talk to Chopper. The dominoes are falling. Honeybee says, I hope so. I think it depends on the strength of the case. If it's weak, I think he'll take his chances with the jury. Yeah, I think once his attorneys are done with the discovery and they have all the pieces they need, they'll advise him, like, hey, you need to play ball here. Especially a few pounds of weed. Craigslist is dead, I thought. It's got to be. I remember when it first came out, I would do freelance graphic design through there. It was actually like a decent site. The perverts ruin everything. They come and pervert everything they touch. Hey, Don, what's up? Good to see you. Okay. So look how quickly this happens. So we're on this weekend of a sleepover, which really could be anywhere between the 1st and the 4th, or maybe even the 1st and the 6th, for all I know. But Libby is introduced to Kegan Kline, aka Anthony Schatz, and he makes it seem as if he was more interested in the friend, maybe a friend. I'm starting to think that he was with wanted to talk to one of their friends, another pervert. Week later, they have another sleepover. I believe this is over, might have been at Libby's aunt's house. And I have a feeling a big part of the story happened here on this weekend. I'm wondering if maybe even Richard Allen and his accomplice, if one exists, maybe try to meet them late at night. Or something. Maybe exposed who they were. Something happened, some kind of conflict. Because on the 10th is when Kegan deleted everything from the 10th to the 16th. So that's what kind of leads me to believe that something happened on the 10th or this weekend right here. True Crime Housewife, hello. I've always wondered why he considered the most traumatic thing in his life if he wasn't involved in some way. Yeah, he thought he was going to prison forever. He makes a comment in the transcript as well. He says, if you're walking with somebody and they commit a murder, you're both going to go to jail and they're going to call you both murderers, but the person walking with him didn't actually murder anybody. So he's almost telling us the story there, I think. He's telling us, yeah, I was with this guy, and I might have gave him some information, and I might have been with him at some point during the day, but I didn't know he was going to go crazy. Like, I'm afraid he's going to do the same thing to me. Okay. So you have a week, almost a week goes by. And on the 19th, Keegan Klein is searching Facebook for his friend's family that introduced Kegan, aka Anthony Shots, to Libby. So he's searching to find out where this girl might be or where people might be at the specific time. Yes, he was friends with the family, but I believe the family was separated and they could have multiple homes. And she may not have been at home. He could have been trying to find out where she was and which home she was at. Or she simply just moved away and it's no longer the same address that he was familiar with. Holster your pitchforks. Hey, Jules. Yeah, thank you, Purdue. I couldn't get over it. So he's searching the family here on the 19th. Why? So why is he searching? If Kegan Kline's searching the family, that means he's most likely connected to the ski mask incident. Why is he motivated to help or be part of the ski mask incident? Why? If he's not part of this murder or trying to hide information. Okay, so the ski mask incident involving the family KK search the day before and introduced Libby to Anthony Shots takes place. And we saw that in the transcript that the day before this incident, and they gave the date, was the 19th, making that incident the 20th. Now, the very day after the ski mask incident, Kegan Klein and his father TK are off to Vegas. Now, I don't know. Did they drive or did they fly? Because if they drove, it would have taken them 3 days to get there and 3 days to get back. So they would have had one night in Vegas if they drove. And why would they do that? That sounds miserable. Yeah, that's a good point. Tom says they should have given more attention to the ski mask incident when it happened. How tall was the ski mask guy? I think they did. I think they have that information. I think we're going to hear a lot more about this. I think we're going to hear a lot more about this week right here as well, between the 5th and the 11th. I think something took place. I think the reason the girls were meeting somebody on the 13th has to do with what was going on between the 10th and the 11th. Whatever that might be. I see no connection to Cody Patty. And when I say none, I mean like absolutely zero. Hey, what's up, Timmy? Yep, exactly. So it seems like some things that he's responding to, like, oh, I wasn't talking to her, or I never said that. He's responding honestly. You can kind of see when he's lying. He's like, when you show it to me, then I'll play ball. And he's very eager to show real, like, shock. He's like, when he has real shock, he's like, I'm going to really put it out there, because he may genuinely be shocked about certain things that he knows this other person did. Maybe he was like, man, I should have never gave this guy the Anthony Shots profile, because look at what he ended up doing. Like, the police are telling him everything this guy ended up doing, and he feels somewhat responsible. Like, I should have never given that information to that crazy guy. Yep, exactly, Beach. So I think the morning of the 13th, when Kegan Kline was logging in and out of multiple devices, he was logging the killer or the killer's accomplice, one of the killers, into the account, and wherever that device is, that may be the device that was found in the Wabash. I just feel like that might be what happened. What's up, Perry UK True Crime? Could have been given them money for pics and selling them for profit. But in one of the statements, it looks like Kegan got upset because they weren't sending him nudes. It's almost like they tried to send him fake ones. And he was like, what are you good for? You know, these aren't even nudes. So maybe that's why they were mad. Maybe he sent money, expecting to get some nudes back. Or maybe somebody was paying him. He then paid them. And then whoever maybe killed the girls was waiting for that, waiting for the images to come back, and they never did. Hey, Cindy. Yep, I'm thinking like a phone or a prepaid card. And it could have been for Abby. Like, here, this is for Abby. Go get her a phone, then I can talk to her. And maybe that's the phone that was taken at the crime scene, a phone that nobody really knew about. I think it's at 8 or 9 Eastern time. Yeah, Perry, for sure. Every time I go through these documents, I find something new. Okay, so let's get back to this because we are running out of time. So from the 21st to the 25th, they're in Vegas. They return on the 25th. And while they are in Vegas on the 20th, and they may have driven because a lot of this activity takes place on that Thursday, where they talk about a hotel, they talk about a burner phone being found in a taxi cab that was then reset and sold, I think like the very next day, which is also convenient. They return on the 25th. That very day, they served a search warrant on Kegan and TK's home. So I'm sorry, but this ski mask incident, I think it is a real incident. I don't know who it involved, but I know the family that it involves, and it's the same family that introduced Libby to Anthony Shots. Now, if this person is revisiting that friend's home after a double murder, to me, it's connected. You guys can leave comments here and let me know how you feel about that. But to me, it's all cut and dry here. The search was most likely for that phone that was logging in and out that morning, and was most likely in the hands of the killer and dumped by the other person involved, who may live in Peru or nearby, or is with them as they escaped, just happened to be in Peru after the crime. I'm not sure. But I want to thank everybody for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. If you have any questions, and if you haven't already, please like the video. Every time you guys do that, the videos just do awesome. More people seem to gain access to them. And when it comes to these that have a lot of information, I want to make sure that people are liking, sharing, stuff like that. If you could, it's a good way to support my channel. Okay, now oh man, there's so many comments I didn't go through. Okay, we're gonna do the super long intro, and I'm gonna go through all the rest of these comments here, or I'm gonna try to.
NASA, Disney.
Anna says, a problem is we want the story to be KK plan to meet Libby. To me, it's not KK, it's Anthony Shots. And if law enforcement's telling us they believe through science that multiple people are using the Anthony Shots account, then we gotta think that it's possibly that somebody else is using that profile to do things that we're assuming were Kegan Kline.
I have not a clue. I think it's because they said I was the last person to talk to her, is what they've told me. No, never. Not at all.
No. Jumping Jack, I don't think so. I think she was at the second one. But I could be wrong. She might have been with her grandfather. She may not have been at either one of the sleepovers. It's a good point. Maybe the first one. I don't know.
The tape itself, it's not an order he's giving them. It almost sounds like if it would like a school teacher say, "Hey guys, down the hill," or a coach, like someone who has very familiar.
Exactly, Honeybee. And why using a burner phone? And why in Vegas on Craigslist? I mean, none of this adds up, but it seems like it's all connected, like it's all pieces of a story. Hey, JJ. That's interesting. Yeah, it helps me out too. Big up to St. Louis, Missouri. I don't know, Emily. Haven't seen anything. A lot of rumor type information going around. Yeah. So let's say somebody tells Kegan
Investigators say he
Kline
used the fake Anthony Schott social media profile
and Richard Allen
to
that they could
communicate
sell
with
like a
underage
snuff
girls and
film or
receive
stuff like
sexually
that.
explicit images.
Maybe it
Police
motivated
interviewed
somebody.
Kline at the time of his arrest in August 2020. They questioned him in that interview about another school-age girl. They gave her address to the Anthony Shots profile just after the Delphi murders. Kline knew the girl in Galveston personally. The police told Kline that she comes home from school, sees this guy with a ski mask looking in her bedroom window, directly after giving this address to Anthony Shots. As a matter of fact, that's the incident that started everything else last time. That's how everything started last time, with that incident.
Yeah, so I wonder if somebody said, hey, we can make money, you know, if we make a snuff film. I got a guy in Vegas. Okay. Well, we can have Kegan Kline. We'll find a victim, you know, through his catfishing. I mean, that's the only thing that really ties the Las Vegas trip into everything else, if it's all connected, you know? Yeah, it's definitely not over. Always good to see you, Chopper. Yeah, today was a great discussion, guys. Keep it going in the comments for anybody who's part of the replay crew. And just let me know what you think about all these theories and all this speculation. Does it make sense? Are we grasping at straws? Yeah, I haven't found a connection. Reach into my soul, and I spent some time on it. He may have just been suffering with his own depression or something. Vanessa says, so was TK pretending KK was still in Vegas on Facebook and he hadn't seen him in a year? Because that's what it looked like. Or was this actually explainable? No, it appeared as if he went back and changed the dates. I think somebody proved that that is exactly what happened. So it's all very suspicious. And a lot of these things wouldn't be going on if they weren't connected to the Delphi murders. But I guess you can use the same Ron Logan logic, right? Like, oh, these guys were doing what they did because of the CSAM. They didn't want to get in trouble because of the CSAM. To me, I think it's completely different. They're looking at Kegan Kline because of Anthony Shots and because of a ski mask incident. And then they found all his CSAM. The only reason people are looking at Ron Logan is because it happened on his property. That's it. And then they're trying to confirm everything around that. It's different with Kegan Kline. Information from the murder and from the victims is pointing to him. They could be digital, but I haven't seen any connection. Depends. If I have anything to talk about, I'll be here. Maybe we'll just take a break and just talk about whatever. Thank you, Anna. Thanks for becoming a member. Look for any notifications for a Tuesday meeting usually around 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, 100% Perry. And the image of her wearing that Abby and Libby t-shirt, that's pretty creepy too. Thanks, Anna. Thanks for hanging out. Can't remember. I want to say 35 now. Don't quote me. Yeah, he's in court tomorrow, and I'm going to do my best to keep you guys updated. So if you check in my community page on my channel, I'll keep things updated. And I might have a surprise live if there's anything interesting. For some reason, I'm going to say 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Thank you, Jumpin' Jack Flash. Yeah, if you guys could hit the like button, it helps me out a lot. I don't know why, but it does. Thanks, Steve. Thanks for being a great mod for my channel. Yep. I think we're going to hear a lot about what took place around the 10th, what was going on with the Anthony Shots money, how Kegan Kline is involved in the Wabash search, and what connects Richard Allen to the Anthony Shots account. I think we're going to learn all those facts when the court proceedings start to unfold. Thank you, Emily. Thanks for hanging out. Thank you, Julianne. I'm not sure. Thanks for your participation, Phil. You're welcome, Louise. Yep, RA in court tomorrow morning. I think they're going to talk about discovery, so it might be a long proceeding. You're welcome, CF Jinx. Thank you. Good night, Karen. You're welcome. Hey, Seashore. 10 a.m. Eastern. Thank you so much for that. You as well, Tax Scott. All right, guys, we're going to start closing her out. I want to thank you guys again for hanging out with me and listening to my Delphi rants. I do my best to dig into the details and present them to you guys in somewhat of a way that makes sense. So thanks for hanging out. Please continue your contributions to my channels. If you do support me, the best way to do that is hit the like button. Other ways, if you can, become a member. There's 2 different options. We stay active in our members. You can ask the members that you see here. We do stay very active. We have a good time. So yeah, if you could share this. But most importantly, just hit that like button. It's very simple. And the more likes I see on a video, the more reach it has. So thanks again. Hi, Joy. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Later.